If the end of the universe is a reset, then 12 trillion years from now, we may meet again. This is not science fiction. It is the mathematical inevitability revealed by the Poincaré recurrence theorem. We all learn as children that a shattered cup will not jump back onto the table by itself. That mixed milk and coffee will not automatically separate. That time cannot flow backward. Only when we grow up do we realize that this is the curse of the second law of thermodynamics: entropy increases. Everything in the universe is inevitably marching toward disorder and decay. But in 1890, a mathematician used pure mathematical logic to derive a conclusion that sent shivers through physics and philosophy alike. If time is long enough, that shattered cup, driven by the randomness of atomic motion, will eventually reassemble perfectly. If time is long enough, all chaos in the universe will be reset. And you, too, are made of countless atoms. After a vast, silent eternity, they will eventually recombine. And you will open your eyes once again. This is the famous Poincaré recurrence theorem. To understand this seemingly insane theorem, we first need to understand the man behind it, Henri Poincaré. Even if you dislike mathematics, you have surely heard of the three-body problem or the butterfly effect. Yes, Poincaré was the pioneer who first discovered that the three-body system is non-integrable, thus opening the door to chaos theory. At the end of the 19th century, physics was steeped in despair. Clausius' heat-death hypothesis hung over the world like a dark cloud. If the universe is an isolated system, entropy will keep increasing until all energy is exhausted, temperature reaches equilibrium, and the universe becomes a stagnant pool. No life, no change. It sounds like the end of the world, doesn't it? But Poincaré saw it differently. As a mathematician, he was not concerned with thermodynamics' macroscopic descriptions of heat. He cared about the microscopic mechanisms at the deepest level of a system. In 1890, while studying the three-body problem, he incidentally proved a theorem crucial to dynamical systems. He found that as long as a system satisfies two seemingly simple conditions. First, the system's energy is conserved and does not vanish out of thin air. Second, the system is confined within a finite space and cannot expand infinitely. Then the particles in that system, no matter how complex their motion becomes, will eventually return arbitrarily close to their initial state. Notice that I said, will inevitably, not might. Imagine a box full of steel balls bouncing chaotically under constant shaking. At this moment, they move wildly in every direction. But as long as the box confines them, and the energy remains constant, after an immensely long sequence of random collisions, they will miraculously all roll back into the corner, perfectly recreating their initial arrangement. To prove this, we need to introduce a slightly hardcore concept: phase space. Imagine that to describe your current state, we would need to know the position and velocity of every atom in your body. That is an astronomically large amount of data. But to a mathematician, we can compress all those trillions of numbers into a single point in a high-dimensional space. As time passes and the atoms in your body move, that point traces out a line in this high-dimensional space. This is called a phase trajectory. Poincaré made use of another great physicist's result, Liouville's theorem. Put simply, Liouville's theorem tells us that the point representing a system's state moves through phase space like an incompressible fluid. If that sounds confusing, don't worry. Let's use an analogy. Suppose phase space is a room of finite size, because the universe has finite energy and finite volume, and the point representing the system's state is a fly that never stops flying inside this room. The fly's path cannot overlap, and it cannot stop. Now here is the question: if time is infinite, but the room is finite, what will the fly do? It cannot keep flying to new places forever, because eventually every region of the room will be visited. So it must return to places it has already been near. It will pass arbitrarily close to its starting point infinitely many times. What does this mean? It means that, on a macroscopic level, the system, our universe, or even a closed laboratory, must return to its past states. Poincaré's discovery delivered a resounding slap to the face of the thermodynamics giant of the time, Ludwig Boltzmann. Boltzmann spent his life defending atomism and the law of entropy increase. He believed the world was made of microscopic particles that would only grow more disordered over time. A shattered mirror could never be made whole again. Then a young mathematician named Zermelo stepped forward, armed with the Poincaré recurrence theorem, and pointed at Boltzmann. If the world is a mechanical system made of atoms, then according to Poincaré's theorem, the world must eventually return, and entropy must eventually decrease. So either your entropy law is wrong, or atomism is wrong. This plunged Boltzmann into profound self-doubt and suffering, becoming one of the great tragedies in the history of science. But modern physics tells us that neither of them was completely wrong. The truth is that entropy increase is not absolutely irreversible. It is merely an event with overwhelmingly high probability at macroscopic scales. It's like buying lottery tickets. Entropy tells you that you will almost certainly lose. But Poincaré tells you that, if you buy tickets long enough, say, for 10 superscript 1 years, you will inevitably win the jackpot once. For the universe, that jackpot is all chaos spontaneously becoming order. Air molecules suddenly rushing into one corner of a room. Shards of a shattered cup suddenly snapping back together amid vibrations. Extinct life and decayed organic matter, through random atomic collisions, reassembling into a living body once more. This does not violate physical laws. The probability is simply absurdly small. But in the face of infinite time, a tiny probability becomes inevitability. At this point, you might think, then why worry about leaving at all? I'll return eventually. Not so fast. That 12 trillion years, mentioned at the beginning, is only a minor milestone in cosmic evolution. Astronomers have long predicted that, 12 trillion years from now, all stars in the universe will burn out. No new stars will be born. Even complex atoms like carbon and oxygen may decay. All forms of life will have long since vanished. Yet this is still unimaginably short. Compared to the true Poincaré recurrence time, our universe is only 13.8 billion years old. Compared to the recurrence time, 12 trillion years is merely a fleeting instant. So just how long is this recurrence cycle? It has a specific name, the Poincaré recurrence time. For a system with only a few atoms, recurrence may take just seconds, but for even 1 cubic centimeter of gas, the time required for it to fully return to its initial state is already an astronomical number. What about the entire observable universe? Physicist Don Page once estimated this number. The time for the universe to undergo one Poincaré recurrence is roughly 10 to the power of 10, raised to the power of 10, raised to the power of 10, raised to the power of 2.08 years. What does that even mean? If you tried to write this number down, and each zero were the size of a proton, the entire universe would not be large enough to contain the length of that number. Compared to this timescale, the current age of the universe, 13.8 billion years, doesn't even amount to a blink. It is so short it might as well not exist. So in any future humans can meaningfully comprehend, entropy still rules. We will still age. Stars will still die. The miracle of recurrence lies hidden, at an end even farther away than eternity itself. But here comes a deeper, more unsettling philosophical question. If Poincaré recurrence is real, then over infinite time, matter will randomly assemble into all kinds of forms. Most of the time, the universe is an empty, chaotic void. But in extremely rare fluctuations, atoms may just happen to collide in the right way, to form a brain. This brain has exactly the same structure as yours, exactly the same memories as yours. It remembers childhood joy, remembers what it ate for dinner, remembers watching this very video right now. This is the famous Boltzmann brain. On Poincaré timescales, creating a single isolated brain is far more probable than recreating an entire orderly universe. So who are you, really? A real human living in the 21st century? Or a Boltzmann brain, floating out of the void billions upon billions of years from now, carrying false memories? It sounds insane, but logically, you cannot disprove it. Even more terrifying is the problem of identity. Suppose that after countless eons of silence, atoms finally reassemble into you. This new you has all your genes, all your memories, all your emotions. Is that you still you? From a materialist perspective, yes. Material structure determines consciousness. Same structure, same consciousness. But to the revived you, it would not feel like, I'm back. Because their memory connects directly to the moment just before your consciousness faded. From their perspective, time merely skipped a frame. Death, subjectively, does not exist. You close your eyes. The universe experiences countless cycles of birth and death. You open your eyes again, and it feels like only an instant has passed. This echoes the famous concept proposed by the philosopher Nietzsche, eternal recurrence. Nietzsche once asked, if one day a demon slipped into your dream and told you that your life, and every life you have ever lived, would be replayed again and again, eternally, with nothing new, every pain, every joy, every thought, every sigh, repeating in exactly the same order, would you worship this demon as a god, or collapse in despair? The Poincaré recurrence theorem seems to offer physics a possible foundation for Nietzsche's prophecy. If the universe is closed, and if time is infinite, then everything you experience right now has already happened countless times in the past, and will repeat countless times in the future. You will fall in love with the same person again. You will make the same mistakes again. You will scroll into this video again on another late night. Is this ultimate nihilism, or ultimate immortality? But at the end of this video, I want to pull you out of the suffocating grip of determinism. The Poincaré recurrence theorem rests on one crucial assumption. The system must be confined. Its volume cannot expand infinitely. Yet modern astronomical observations tell us That our universe is expanding at an accelerating rate. Dark energy is tearing spacetime apart. If the universe keeps expanding forever and its volume becomes infinite, then the probability of particles ever meeting again approaches zero. Atoms will drift alone into the dark abyss, never to reunite. This ending is called the Big Freeze, or the Big Rip. It may sound bleak, but at least it shatters Poincaré's suffocating eternal prison. We may truly have only one life. We may truly have only this one, unique performance. And perhaps this is the most scientific form of romance. Precisely because atomic recombination is vanishingly unlikely, in an expanding universe. Precisely because time truly cannot flow backward. Every breath you take right now, every love and pain in your heart, becomes infinitely precious. It is not a copy in an infinite loop. It is a once-and-for-all resonance, in the entire river of time. So cherish this moment. Live in the present. Seek the answers of the universe at the edge of science. See you next time.